Brookland is Live starts right now with breaking news.
And it is so good to be with you. I'm Jackson Mitchell on this Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. Lots of news to get to, lots that we are going to get to. We're starting with breaking news once again as the war in Iran rages on in close to its 40th day. We're going to get to that. But first, we do want to turn to some news we just got in a few moments ago, some history in from just a few moments ago. The International Space Station and Artemis 2, that mission around the moon, we're going to show you some images of it coming up, making contact. Take a listen here. This is moments ago from NASA Plus.
Integrity is ready for the event.
Station, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call Integrity for a voice check.
Integrity, this is the International Space Station. How do you hear?
International Space Station and Jessica, we have you loud and clear. How about us?
We have you loud and clear as well, and we have BME TV up, so we have a view of you right now, and it is making us so excited. We feel like you're here with us, and this is really just making our entire week right now. We've been following along and have seen the incredible photos and heard some of your observations that you've been reporting.
Jeremy, we have been waiting for this like you can't imagine. Let me go check on our PFD. We are 201,726, now 25 nautical miles from planet Earth, which is just hard to believe. The scales are impossible to believe. And for the run of show this morning, I figured I'll say a quick hi, which I have done. I'll hand the microphone to fellow chump Jeremy. He can say a quick hi, and then we'll let you three A-balls just get on with it. Yeah,
Hey, balls,
maybe like a tiny bit of microphone time before the A-balls get after it. But it's such a pleasure to be spending a little bit of time with our colleagues in space, and we talk so much up here, or we try to anyway, emphasize how important the work is that we're all doing in this program to do the types of things that get us ready to get back on the surface of the moon, and like the administrator was saying yesterday, onto Mars. And so we just appreciate you, and it's fun to be up in space with you at the same time.
We are so excited to be up here with you, and we had a couple of questions. We are wondering, we know how fortunate all of us are as humans to come up here and look down at the Earth from above. Every astronaut that comes to space remarks on that, and we really wanted to hear what that felt like, how different that felt now from your new perspective around the moon.
Well, I'll start by saying we do miss the ISS. The views there are awesome, being able to see specific places, being able to see your home specifically. So y'all's views are absolutely incredible, and I miss them every day almost. The thing that changed for me looking back at Earth was that I found myself noticing not only the beauty of the Earth, but how much blackness there was around it. And how it just made it even more special. It truly emphasized how alike we are, how the same thing keeps every single person on planet Earth alive. We evolved on the same planet. We have some shared things about how we love and live that are just universal. And the specialness and preciousness of that really is emphasized when you notice how much else there is around it.
That's really amazing to hear. It's been an incredible time getting to be here on station. I know you guys have had a lot of that same experience, and we were super curious, like what you're carrying forward from your time training for and flying on ISS to the moon.
that heard the question. I'll go ahead and respond. Actually, Chris, it was awesome to watch you and Jessica go out on a spacewalk. I was lucky enough to sit console for your suit up, and I was just filled with pride, but it also really reinstilled in me those flight operations principles that we live by in a real-time, high dynamic, and risky environment. So having that kind of impressed in my mind right before this flight was huge. And basically every single thing that we learned on ISS is up here. And then, of course, there's the funny and practical, how to eat, how to do silly things with water, how to flip around. We're bringing that with us, too.
And I just got to add, C-Dub, right before you launched, you said you can't wait to talk to us on the space to ground, and it is happening, brother. I cannot believe it.
Face to face, we said.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I mean, I remember having coffee and sitting with you guys just before I left to fly up here, and it's just so awesome being able to talk to you right now. It's such a special opportunity.
And we had another question, because now you're in a little capsule that is your home, and although this is a test flight and so everything is new, what surprised you in your journey so far? We know that Weed really likes it up there.
It's really great to hear your voice up here. I can't tell you how fun this event is for us. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as we are. I don't mean to give you such a short answer, but I can truly say everything. From the core stage ignition, solids lighting, to getting into a new orbit, even right after 8 minutes of boosting on the core stage, to then the translunar injection, to flying by the moon. This entire journey has been interesting, but also applying some of the lessons from station in a much smaller volume. How we move around and eat, those things have also been surprising, because the difference between ISS and here is we don't have another module to deconflict, and so everything we do essentially starts with a spatial conflict, and we have to take the time to work it out in every activity. And so we've been just having fun working through that.
Thank you so much, Victor. That was such a good answer. We laughed all here hearing your answer. Thank you so much.
All right, my turn, and I'm excited to talk to you guys. It's been awesome up here. Being rookie it's been such an awesome experience, having a great crew. I know you guys have a tight bonded crew as well. Jessica dared me to grow a mustache all during training, and I came through on that. So I'm kind of curious what kind of fun you guys had in your training and on your flight here that's been keeping you guys smiling.
I just had a process escape on my water training up here, and I left the PWD valve open a little bit too long. Now, I will say, I'm not the only one to have done this, but I do have the record so far for the largest process escape on the water training failures.
Well, we can tell that you guys are definitely experiencing moonjoy, and I feel like even we are experiencing moonjoy right now. I think this also sounds like a great band name, so we can't wait for you to drop your first album.
I got a question for you, but the quick story I wanted to tell you is you were asking what it's like here compared to International Space Station, and I'm just going to relate a very quick funny story. Heading into our translunar injection burn, we're coming out of 38,000 miles, coming down to a 100-mile perigee to do that burn, and when we were about 5,000 or 6,000 miles up from the Earth, looking at the entire Earth just growing rapidly in the window, Jeremy turns around to us and goes, "I'm not sure, I think we're going to run right into it." And we were all dying laughing. And it was the most fascinating thing to watch that Earth grow, and we actually ended up TLIing on the upper half of the Earth, and we thought we were going to TLI on the bottom half of the Earth. Like, that is the perspective we had, and then the vehicle reoriented, and we went. So it is crazy up here, and it does bend your mind. So question for you guys. I'm looking around the Integrity spacecraft right now. We're rehydrating some sweet and sour chicken. We've got some Kona with cream. We've got some butternut cookies. I'm sorry, butternut squash and spicy green beans. So it's all the same food. We want to know, what are you eating, and we're going to mirror you today.
So I had spicy green beans for lunch, and I've been loving seeing all of the things about you guys having the same food. It's fantastic.
I had a mango salad this morning. I think you have this on board too. Oh, Nana, I know you love that mango salad just like I do.
Yep, there's a mango salad on the deck right now.
Well, I hope I'm not talking over somebody, but I wanted to say a couple things to my Astra sister, Jessica. One, sorry to steal your next spacewalk day, everybody, but thank you for cheering us along anyway. And Jessica, I always hoped we would be in space again together, but I never thought it would be like this. It's amazing. Congratulations to you on being commander, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your trip in space.
Thank you so much, Christina. I totally share all the same sentiments, and I'm so happy that we are back in space together, even if we are, a few miles apart. We like to joke about that up here, too, because everyone's talking about the records of the distance, and we ran to the far end of the space station when you guys were on the other side so that we could claim we were the furthest away from you in that moment. Love all four of you so much.
We were doing the same shenanigans here when we got to the furthest point from the moon. I tried to get to the furthest point from Earth. I tried to get to the furthest point in the spacecraft, and my crewmates were clawing me down. And I know that's a joke. We were busy doing science, but we had that same conversation. It was a lot of fun. I don't know how much longer we have here, but from the four members of the spacecraft Integrity, we really want to just say our deepest appreciation to the 7 members of the International Space Station, and this has been a true treat. It takes the entire world to do amazing things like this, and to get to come together as this group of people and talk for just a minute at these distances. We are all off the planet Earth right now, and we're all going to go home to that planet, and that is a very special thing. So thank you all for tying in.
Thank you, Reed. Well, beautiful words, and yeah, from here.
And Integrity Houston, ISS is doing a teacher's handover. They'll be back with you shortly.
We are loving all four of you from here, from the space station in low Earth orbit. We'll keep the fires burning here.
And we'll keep carrying the fire. Thanks, guys. Over and out.
Thank you, guys. International Space Station, over and out.
A conversation there, a historic one. I mean, it sounded like ever watched the news and there's been a delay between the anchor and the reporter. It's kind of like that, but it was an extended delay, and that's what it was giving. It was reminding me of some news shows that I've watched previously when there has been a long delay or someone's earpieces went out and they're sitting there and pausing for a long period of time. So again, that historic call there. We're going to sneak in our first commercial break of the hour. When we come back, we're going to talk about the latest on the war in Iran. That is coming up in just a moment on this Tuesday edition of Brookland News Live. And welcome back into the Brooklyn News Live, on this Tuesday. Time now 2:18. Stick with us. We've got a lot of news planned for you. Right now, I'm going to bring you the latest on the war in Iran. President Trump this morning releasing some new information, saying on Truth Social, quote, and it looks like we're having some issues there. Excuse me. Apologies. Should be fixed now. Quote, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary, wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. This comes after yesterday, that press conference, and before that, messages that President Trump would have a deadline here. I believe we actually have that Truth Social post on the deadline where he says, quote, Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day all wrapped up in one in Iran. This comes as he set a deadline for today at 7 p.m. Central Time for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. I want to play a piece of President Donald Trump. This is the president here. Give me one moment. This is, if I can find it for you guys, the president on all of this. And it looks like we might be missing the video. One moment, you guys. President Trump on all of this yesterday during that press conference that happened over at the White House. Take a listen.
They're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We're getting the help of some incredible countries that want this to be ended because it affects them also. A lot of people are affected by this, but we're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and after that, they're going to have no bridges, they're going to have no power plants. Very little is off limits.
Are there certain kinds of civilian targets, though? I'm thinking schools
I don't want to
or
tell you
hospitals
that.
you
I don't want
would
to
say
tell
is
you
off-
that. We have a plan because of the power of our military, where every bridge in Iran will be decimated by 12 o'clock tomorrow night, where every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning, exploding, and never to be used again. I mean, complete demolition by 12 o'clock. And it'll happen over a period of 4 hours if we wanted to. We don't want that to happen. We may even get involved with helping them rebuild their nation. And you know what? If that's the case, the last thing we want to do is start with power plants, which are among the most expensive thing, and bridges. You saw the bridge. The bridge went. We were very close to a deal. And then I got a call from Mr. Witkoff, Mr. Kushner, and JD saying, I think they're breaking the deal. I said, tell them that's okay. Don't worry about it. But tell them to look out their window and watch. And within 45 minutes, I gave the order to knock out the biggest bridge. I gave the order, knock out the biggest bridge in, I believe, the Middle East, but the biggest bridge in Iran. And within 10 minutes after I gave that order, that bridge was over. Us charging tolls?
Iran.
What about us charging tolls?
Is that something you're considering?
I'd rather do that than let them have them, right? Why shouldn't we? We're the winner. We won, okay? They are militarily defeated. The only thing they have is the psychology of, oh, we're going to drop a couple of mines in the water, all right? No, we have a concept where we'll charge tolls, okay? I thought you meant us. Your question would have been more accurate if you said us. Go ahead. We have to have a deal that's acceptable to me. And part of that deal is going to be we want free traffic of oil and everything else.
You've said glory be to God in this conflict. Do you believe that God supports the United States' actions in this war?
I do, because
And
God
have you
is
sought his direction?
good. Because God is good, and God wants to see people taken care of. God doesn't like what's happening. I don't like what's happening. Everyone says I enjoy. I don't enjoy this. I don't enjoy. NATO's a paper tiger. NATO is us. And when we needed them, we didn't need them, by the way. We didn't need them, obviously, because they haven't helped at all. Just the opposite. They've actually gone out of their way not to help. They didn't even want to give us landing strips. Think of it. And it's not just NATO. You know who else didn't help us? South Korea didn't help us. You know who else didn't help us? Australia didn't help us. You know who else didn't help us? Japan. Germany telling us that, well, it's not their war. We had nothing to do with it. They wanted me to go and tell them everything I was doing. We didn't know anything about it. Well, if I would have told them, they would have leaked it, and we wouldn't have been nearly as successful, possibly, right? But to the victor belong the spoils. So we haven't heard that in, I think, maybe hundreds of years.
Do you still want them to stay away, or what role do you expect them to play now?
I'd rather have them stay away.
And then,
I'd rather have them stay away because I think they bring with them some problems and some difficulties. And I don't think they bring death, I mean, you know, to themselves. But I'd rather have.
Alrighty, a live look there at Tel Aviv, Israel right now. President Trump making quite some, excuse me here, about 90 minutes of remarks yesterday at the White House. That was multiple clips there of his remarks on the war, and specifically in Iran, but on this deadline that he currently has set for, again, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 Eastern. We'll be following that, and we'll bring you any updates if there is any. So again, that big news coming out. Today, we're also getting some more news out of the war in Iran, because we are learning here, and I'm going to read from my phone because this is breaking news that's come into us within the last little bit. That the Shelley Kittleson, who's that American journalist who was kidnapped in Iraq, has now been released. We're learning this was in with a prisoner release from Iraq and Iran. Quote, "We are still waiting Shelley to be transferred to U.S. officials. We welcome the news of her pending release, but will save celebratory," I believe that's how you say that word, statement until she is transferred. The video that was released provided proof of life. We will have more to say when she is in U.S. hand. That is a Pentagon official, former Pentagon official Alex Plistas, a friend of the journalist who called himself her designated U.S. point of contact. So again, this comes after she has just been released in a prisoner release. That is a journalist, Shelley Kittleson. We covered that kidnapping and showed you guys some of that viral video right here on a previous edition of Brookland News Live. So we are getting that update. Also, ahead of the deadline, President Trump and the White House, specifically the United States here, striking Karg Island, which is a critical oil hub in Iran. The Associated Press saying that's according to a White House official who wasn't authorized to speak publicly and spoke on condition of anonymity. The U.S. hit military targets on the island, the official said. Tuesday, the strikes came hours ahead of a deadline Trump set for Iran to capitulate to his demands or face a major attack. He said Tuesday morning that, quote, "whole civilization will die tonight." We brought you that post a few moments ago. So that is, of course, another aspect of this story that we are following from the White House all the way to Tel Aviv, Israel. And we were going to have more on the conversation of reopening the Strait of Hormuz as the United Nations out of New York discussed it earlier today. We're going to play you that coming up here in just a few moments. We do want to get to some of the other stories making headlines right after a quick break, of course. You are watching Brookland News Live. When we come back, the DHS Secretary, the new one at least, Markwayne Mullin, appearing in North Carolina after that big hurricane hit them, and specifically in Asheville, North Carolina. He was there to highlight FEMA's relief efforts. We're going to show you some of that coming up here in just a moment. And Savannah Guthrie returning to today on Monday. Of course, her mother has been missing now for over, since February 1st. It's now April 7th here, so about 2 months or so, 60 plus days. And the race to replace Mars retailer Green. That's a look at all those stories coming up right here on Brookland News Live, right after this quick break. Welcome back here on the Brookland News Live. We'll look at video from earlier today as the new Department of Homeland Security Secretary, Mark Wayne Mullen, the former senator, appearing in Asheville, North Carolina. He was there to highlight FEMA's relief efforts following Hurricane Helene. North Carolina Governor John Stein had requested the visit, citing Mullen's experience in disaster response. Now, there was also another announcement of about, an additional $103 million in aid for recovery there. So FEMA announcing that last week. And there you go, you can see him in that video earlier today in Asheville, North Carolina. So that is another story that we will continue to follow. If you remember, President Trump had visited Asheville, North Carolina soon after, I believe it was right after he was sworn into office to become president, or it may have been after he was even elected. Another big story we're following, Savannah Guthrie returning to Today yesterday. I know we were kind of wall-to-wall breaking news yesterday, so we were unable to bring you this story, but Savannah Guthrie returning to the Today Show. I want to play this clip for you.
Good morning. Welcome to Today on this Monday morning. We are so glad you started your week with us, and it is good to be home.
Yes, it is good to have you back at home.
Well, here we go. Ready or not, let's do the news.
Yes, so good to have you back. We are back at 8:30 on this beautiful Monday morning, and it's a special Monday morning for us and for this crowd as well. Special because we're welcoming back our North Star. Yeah. SG, come on out here. Come on back up. They've been waiting for it. How does it feel?
These signs are so beautiful. You guys have been so beautiful. I've received so many letters, so much kindness to me and my whole family, and we feel it. And we feel your prayers. So thank you so much. Thank you.
It's not just today. They've been out here
every day.
Every day.
This is such a nice
signs.
pocket square. I don't want to slobber on it. Okay, it is. I know. I'm sorry.
How little is a million of them?
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
We love you.
Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget.
Yeah, so an emotional moment there. Sorry, the end of that clip there had another clip of Al Roker. So an emotional moment there as the fans gathered in, I believe they call it the Today Show Plaza. Actually, I almost visited it on my visit to New York. It would have been before the Savannah's mother went missing. But again, Nancy Guthrie, her mother, has been missing for over 60 days. She now returned to her day job at the hosting the Today Show. So an emotional moment, of course, there. We're going to continue to follow any details that we have in the search for Nancy Guthrie out of Tucson, Arizona. Also, the race to replace Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat in the House of Representatives is continuing. Take a look at the candidates there. It's a runoff election today. The polls closed later tonight in Georgia. Again, Clay Fuller, Sean Harris up on the ballot there. Now, this was a seat that wasn't projected to go Democratic. It was a safe Republican seat, but after the previous election results that led this now to a runoff election, not between two Republicans, but whether a Republican and a Democrat. It's making this one a race to watch. So we'll follow this and we'll bring you more results from that tomorrow. Also, as promised, we're going to show you some images from Artemis 2's mission and some more video as well from them. We'll talk about the history before we do exactly that, though. Now, again, you've heard that. I believe they talked a little bit about that in their phone call. They talked about some of the history that had already been made by this mission, and that include the fact that they were farther than any humans in history away from Earth. 252,760 miles. Now, it also breaks the record from the Apollo program at 248,655 miles, and it also, again, becomes the farthest distance humans have ever trialed. So this is Artemis 2. We'll see what, Artemis 3, 4, whatever, however NASA continues to do it and how that goes. Also, the Artemis 2 took on, I want to show you a video for you. This is some pictures from the moon, from Artemis 2. You'll see the astronauts there at first, but then you'll see some pictures of the moon that they took. Take a look at that. I mean, you can see it. I believe, I think it was yesterday while we were on the air, one of the astronauts had explained the fact that there were so many more. It was so rugged when you looked at closer than it does from Earth or pictures. So, I mean, you can see from even these images, it looks really, really rugged, and there's a lot of indents in this planet. So, gotta be something to watch for, and something as they will, as Artemis 2, Integrity will return to Earth Friday evening. So, a story we are going to watch and continue to watch and bring you updates on, as we have done every single day. Also, this pretty big breaking news, I would say. A woman missing in the Bahamas. Lynette Hooker, who's a 55-year-old American woman, she went missing back on Saturday after falling overboard from her yacht. Falling overboard, while trying to return to her yacht. Sorry about that, you guys. Now, the soulmate in the pictures here in the Bahamas, her husband Brian, had reported her missing after losing sight of her in strong currents. Now, the couple note online, and you'll see their Instagram tag on the top left side of your screen. The sailing hookers had been documenting their yachting adventures now for 3 years. So the search ongoing in the Bahamas for that woman in these two images here. So we hope that she is found safely and soon. Okay, we want to take you right now to some video here. We're going to get to your forecast that's coming up later this hour, so stick with us for that as you take a live look there at the RDOT camera. But we do want to get you to the United Nations meeting that occurred earlier today on the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz out of Iran. The audio was up here. The meeting is should begin very soon, I believe, here. And then you will hear from some dignitaries. Looks like there might be a song first. I don't know. Maybe a little bit of peace. Some what do they say? Yeah, peace before we get into kind of the serious stuff about the Strait of Hormuz. So why don't we listen to the song as well here. Again, your weather coming up at about 2:55. Alrighty there, so a little greeting there before the United Nations got underway here. I want to take you as we are continue to cover the war in Iran here. We're going to kind of fast forward just a little bit to the point that this meeting did in fact begin. This is, we'll go to where Mike Waltz began to speak, who serves as representative for the United States and did today in the United Nations here. So we'll skip to that point if it lets us. Give me just one moment. This is the United States here. We'll start with that, and then we will continue listening into what the other countries have to say about all of this. Let's turn it back up and begin to listen in.
To the representative of the United States.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your statement. In mine, I want to be clear. I want to be very clear that the United States stands with Bahrain. The United States stands with the people of the Gulf at this moment of reckoning. Colleagues, this is a time for choosing, and the countries that just opposed this resolution, led by the Kingdom of Bahrain, have chosen to oppose them. Just over 3 weeks ago, this council adopted a resolution which garnered a record-setting, a UN record of 136 co-sponsors with no opposition in this council. It was the most supported resolution in UN history, and that resolution clearly demanded that Iran immediately cease its attacks and threats against neighboring states and condemned its obstruction of safe civilian shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. As President Trump explained in his statement last week to the nation and the world, we are here because Iran's tyrannical regime has persisted for decades in escalating its attacks against the American people, our allies in the region, and the world's commercial fleets, in flagrant violation of international law and nearly a dozen resolutions from the United Nations Security Council. Colleagues, 47 years ago, the Iranian regime's first act was to take dozens of Americans hostage. Now, it's taking the Strait of Hormuz hostage, and with it, attempting to take the world's economy hostage. Well, colleagues, that may be its last act. We'll see. Iran has laid mines in the strait. They are firing upon civilian commercial vessels. These vessels are carrying fertilizer, oil, medical supplies, other critical goods around the world. They are threatening the entire world with energy shortages, disrupted supply chains, and possibly even famine. The Iranian regime has deliberately chosen to broaden their war to the Gulf by firing on our allies, not just U.S. military bases, but shooting in all directions. Just against the United Arab Emirates alone, Iran has fired over 500 ballistic missiles, over 2,000 drones, dozens of sophisticated cruise missiles. Again, not against military targets, against resorts and ports and hotels and civilian neighborhoods in absolute and flagrant violation of international law. The Kingdom of Bahrain has sustained thousands more ballistic missiles, drones, cruise missiles, again, against civilian neighborhoods. Iran has deliberately chosen to broaden their war even further. Iran's foreign minister, Arachi, has stated now the Strait of Hormuz is now Iranian territory. That's quite the pronouncement. And that they will treat it as their own territory. Again, holding the world's economy hostage. This was their choice to deny the world oil that's needed to heat their homes, African and South Asian states who need grain and fertilizer to pass freely through the strait in time for planting season in spring. As we speak, colleagues, as we speak right now, 80 UN and international humanitarian groups delivering medical aid, shelter, supplies, and food to humanitarian crises in the Congo, in Sudan, in Gaza, cannot pass through the strait. No one should tolerate that they are holding the global economy at gunpoint. But today, Russia and China did tolerate it. They sided with a regime that seeks to intimidate the Gulf into submission, even as it brutalizes its own people during a national internet blackout for daring to imagine dignity or freedom. Now it seeks to punish the world as cynical leverage in its death to America approach to foreign policy. Colleagues, the blight Iran has inflicted upon us, you, and its own people, it did not begin on March 11th. It did not begin February 28th or even today. For nearly half a century, the Islamic Republic of Iran, the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, has built its reason for existence on the violent exporting of a revolution. It's built its reason for existence on intimidation and terror. And I commend Bahrain and everyone who voted with this resolution for saying enough is enough. It has attacked American embassies. It has murdered hundreds of American diplomats, service members, and civilians. It has bombed American barracks and businesses. It has tried to bomb our cities. It has even repeatedly conspired and failed to assassinate the President of the United States. The perpetrator of that Iranian plot was just convicted right down the street in Brookland in an American court. Thank God. This year alone, multiple agents of the Iranian government were convicted and intercepted in other plots to kill the president and an American Iranian dissident who spoke right here at this council, Masa Alinejad, all in clear violation of Security Council Resolution 1373, which prohibits states from supporting acts of terror. 47 years and counting, colleagues, Iran has campaigned against peace in the region by any means necessary. Just this January, it slaughtered tens of thousands of its own citizens, as we discussed right here in this council. But yet, the regime then promised no more executions on its citizens. But what are they doing? Violating that promise, and instead are slaughtering, on average, one Iranian per day. People who dare to protest their own government. Iran has also armed terrorist proxies, targeted civilians, strangled shipping lanes, and destabilized governments. As a 2019 UN Secretary General report affirmed, it has hidden and encouraged its proxies to hide behind civilians and civilian infrastructure to attack Americans and our allies. The Secretary General himself affirmed Iran hides military hardware in hospitals and schools and civilian neighborhoods for propaganda purposes in the most sick and despicable way. Don't take that from me. Take that from the Secretary General in his own report. And now, according to the UN's UNICEF, the IRGC is openly recruiting children as young as 12 to be child soldiers. Right now, as their country suffers, they are spending millions per day to enforce an internet blackout on those same civilians and those same children that they are executing for daring to protest. Why is all of this happening? Because regional peace is a threat to Iran. Apparently, it's not good, or apparently it's bad for China and Russia too. It exposes the Iranian regime for what it is, which is a dictatorship punching at the kneecaps of its neighbors, neighbors who have realized a better future for their people. Just across the Strait of Hormuz, cities like Dubai, Doha, and Manama, and Riyadh beckon the Iranian people for a better future. That's the threat, colleagues. That's what the regime doesn't want to see for its own people. Right across the Gulf, there is a brighter, better future, a different model. And they will not have it, and they're attacking it at every turn. I recently heard, colleagues, from an Iranian dissident, one who has been repeatedly harassed, threatened, and is in hiding. This Iranian dissident told me, do you know what the Iranian people fear the most? They fear that America will stop. They fear that we'll stop too soon. And that a new future, this is from the dissident, a new future, one who looks like what its Gulf neighbors have provided, will not come for them. Well, today, colleagues, certain countries stood in the way of that future, and the United States voted to protect that future. Mr. President, it is not lost on us that as we speak, your people, our allies across the Gulf, and American service members in the region are under a barrage of Iranian missiles and drones. They and you have shown great bravery. It is sad and unfortunate that Russia and China have not. We have long known that these countries are capable of paralyzing the Council through obstruction.
Alrighty, you have been watching mostly the United States there, Michael Waltz speaking as a representative of the United States on the Strait of Hormuz and kind of where the United States stands on all of this. As our hour slowly comes to an end, I want to take you right outside right now. Live look there. In Brookland, as time keeps passing, about 2:55. Usually by this time, school traffic's a little more than it looks like it is right now, and we'll see how far these cars can go as they continue turning there right on School Street from Highway 49. Tonight, 48 degrees. Oh, excuse me. It looks like our previous story is kind of stuck on the screen there for just a second. My apologies about that. It should be fixed right about now. There we go. Tonight, 48 degrees is going to be that low. Wednesday, 75. That high, low of 53 by Thursday. High of 75, low of 56. We're going to see cloudy skies continue as we go into Wednesday. By Thursday, though, mostly sunny. It's actually going to get pretty warm as it is on Wednesday and Thursday. So that's going to be something to watch for as we go throughout the next 2 days. We'll wrap it up because it's also a good day at the White House. It looks very pretty outside. I wonder what the temperature is there. So live look there at the White House. Live look back in Brooklyn as we wrap up this hour of Brooklyn News Live. Remember, you can join us each and every weekday starting at 2 p.m. Central. Thank you for joining us throughout the last hour. As we wrap things up tomorrow, we got another big show planned for you. We'll break down everything you need to know and so much more. Our goal still has not changed. Thank you for watching. That does it for us. Have a great rest of your day.